When Chris Chibnall delivers, he delivers. Sup fellow canines, I'm the Adopted Canine and welcome to my very first review for this channel. And we're starting off with something that I have a great passion for, and that is Doctor Who. And we are going to be reviewing today the episode that aired tonight. I am recording this about an hour, 2 hours since broadcast. And oh my goodness, we have a lot to discuss. This was absolutely... this was so much fun. So, Doctor Who, Eve of the Daleks. This was the episode that aired today. It was the New Year's Day special that aired. And I'm just going to say this right now, I thought it was really, really good. I thought it was probably one of the best, most fun specials that Chibnall has released. I don't think it's surpassed my number one New Year's special, my number one favourite of the Dalek trilogy, as people call it, in terms of these New Year's specials being Dalek-based episodes. It's definitely not my favourite, but it most certainly is ahead of Resolution, because, let's face it, that's not really, you know, that much of a difficult thing to surpass. No, but Doctor Who, Eve of the Daleks is definitely now my second favourite of the trilogy. It hasn't beaten Revolution of the Daleks, because I absolutely adore Revolution of the Daleks, for as cheesy and flippin' stuffed to the brim as that episode in itself is. I just adore the epic as hell Dalek versus Dalek fight finale that happens at the end, and all in all, it is still a much more grander scale episode. But that doesn't mean that takes away from this episode though, because Doctor Who Eve of the Daleks was after all filmed during the very much brink of the fact that things were still in isolation, we were still in heavy lockdown, and basically things were not obviously, you know, back to normal filming standards in terms of for the BBC. So this episode was clearly very much so cut down heavily to compensate for, you know, these restrictions. And all I can say is I am incredibly impressed. I am just honestly blown away. It already blows my mind with how much they managed to accomplish with Doctor Who Flux, given the fact that even that was filmed during a pandemic. But this was clearly filmed during a much more intense part of the restrictions, and it can really show, because obviously we're indoors most of the time, which means it's more than likely a set. There was pretty much next to none location filming. It was all small scenes in the TARDIS, like one small scene at the beginning in the TARDIS, and then the rest of it was all in this warehouse. And I've got to say, have an even bigger appreciation for that because of the fact that they've done that. I absolutely adore the fact that they've accomplished so much with just that little, you know, with just that much restriction and that little cast, and it's just really enjoyable to see. And it's fun to also see another Doctor Who bottle type episode, where it's sort of essentially the same location and the same kind of, you know, characters all the way through. It's just them stuck in one place. I mean, technically they had the whole warehouse, but even so, it was still the same place, and it was essentially a bottle episode, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was, you know, absolutely great. So the story for this episode, basically it follows two like there's the girl that works at the warehouse, and then there's somebody who goes to this warehouse, and the warehouse is a storage warehouse, so people go there to store things, and he's like the regular customer. He's like the one that goes there every New Year's and things like that. It's a constant thing, and he's gone there usual New Year's Eve. He's gone there to go check up on his storage, maybe add a few more things to the storage, and he's brought a Monopoly game and things because he actually deep down really loves the woman who runs the place. But she's kind of oblivious. She's kind of in her own world. She's kind of sick of New Year's Eve. She's sick of not having a man. She's sick of being deserted by this guy who's briefly talked about in a phone conversation. It's just, so she's kind of, you know, she's kind of pretty much done with romance. And so when this guy comes in and he's like, oh, I brought Monopoly, she's not thinking, oh, that's nice, that's sweet. She's just sort of in her own head of like, you know, do you really have to, honestly, you come here every New Year's, just get on with it, get out. When you're done, get out, basically. That's essentially what she does. And so that's happening, and then they end up getting killed by a Dalek. And meanwhile, the TARDIS has landed there, and the Doctor promised Dan and Yaz, who are the companions, I did, for those of you who are watching this, you probably already know this, but this is my first review, okay? Give me a break. Give me a break, please. I'm new to all of this. Don't know how well this is going to do either, but I'm hoping it's going to do well. Hopefully. I'm praying. But anyways, after the events of the Flux, the Doctor has to put the TARDIS into this sort of like emergency reset mode, which basically means that, you know, the entire console the entire console room is apparently going to collapse in on itself. They have to get out within like less than 10 seconds, otherwise they'll die and perish. And they escape, they get out, and the Doctor has promised they've landed on this beach planet, so they can, like, you know, relax, take it easy, and just sort of unwind while the TARDIS does its thing and while the TARDIS repairs itself, basically. But things aren't quite as they seem, and things obviously don't work out that way, as they end up also in the same warehouse with the Daleks and these two people as well, who have also been killed by the Daleks. And then, when they confront the Daleks, they themselves end up being killed. And that's the end, guys. That's the end. Everybody dies. That's it. Sorry. That's the end. Roll credits. That's the end of the review. I'm sorry. Okay. Bye-bye, guys. Bye. I got you. Didn't I? Of course it's not the end. Of course it's not. They wouldn't just kill the Doctor off. If anything, that is the cold open, because then the opening comes up and then suddenly we are sent into this sort of Groundhog Day-esque like episode, where basically the Doctor and friends are stuck in this warehouse with these Daleks who are really new and improved. They have got some major upgrades. Instead of having just the single fire gun, they now have rapid fire guns, which is absolutely petrifying. It's already terrifying enough that the Dalek is pretty much one of the most accurate monsters in Doctor Who when it comes to firing. But then when you take into account the fact that they are now wielding freaking, essentially, aimbot, that's terrifying. That's incredibly terrifying. So that's a thing, that they have rapid fire suddenly. They've done that, and apparently these Daleks have come down because they picked up the TARDIS's signal, and they are here to execute the Doctor because of her crimes when it came to the Flux, and blaming her for the demise of the Daleks. And that's further developed as the story goes along, and it's basically a fight for survival. However, the TARDIS, due to it repairing itself, has stuck the entire warehouse in a time loop, and every time the Doctor and the others die, the timeline resets. But they have a limited amount of time. They only have a set amount of time before it strikes midnight of the new year of 2022 to fix this, stop the Daleks, and get out of there, or their death is permanent. So there's a lot of consequences being dealt with after the events of the Flux being in play here, and there's a lot of wit, there's a lot of humour. It's definitely the most fun and bonkers of the Dalek trilogy. Resolution tried to be too serious, and then that meant the jokes didn't really hit, and Revolution of the Daleks was just a straight up full-on epic. Yeah, there were some funny moments, there were some goofy moments, but it all in all wasn't really necessarily a 100% fun episode. This is completely fun. It's completely bonkers. There's freaking rapid-fire Daleks running around the place, shooting up everything, and it's basically this quintessential Dalek episode for anybody who, you know, enjoys that kind of thing. It very much has that, you know, that feel to it, and there's some really lovable characters. I love the interaction between the two, like the one who worked there and the one who ran the place, and the guy who came in who liked her. And again, I must apologise, I can't remember their name. I might research their names in a second just so I can actually say their names, but I'm not too sure though. I might do that. I don't even know. This is my first review. But anyway, and this is, again, first reaction. So, you know what? No, I'm not going to research this. You guys are getting my reaction wrong when I'm being an idiot and I can't say their names. And feel free to say their names down in the comments and say how much of an idiot I've been in my first review, and tell me how terrible I am. So there's a lot of back and forth. You get a little bit of tension between the two that, you know, like each other, even though, well, it's technically more the guy that likes the girl more than the girl likes the guy, but the girl learns to like the guy through his selfless actions through the episode and things. And Now we're going to dive into a little bit of spoiler territory, so I don't really want to spoil too much of it. I mean, I've already spoiled the whole Flux thing, but, like, that's kind of, you know, I mean, I'm pretty sure there was bound to be some Flux continuation. But anyway, this is like a spoiler for the ending of the episode and the resolution, so if you don't want to know that, then skip to the end of the video when I'm doing the outros. Yeah. So anyway, so the Doctor and Dan and Yaz and everyone else basically discovers that the storage warehouse has a bunch of illegal fireworks and propane tanks and just things that are incredibly explosive and hazardous from somebody who I don't know if they worked there or they were in charge of something, or like I don't know, but apparently like somebody's storage in there was illegal. Jeff, the goat of this episode, the one who saved everybody's life, hashtag Jeff for president. I don't know who this Jeff is, but he would be a great president or prime minister. Yeah, hashtag Jeff for prime minister. Let's get Boris out and let's bring Jeff in. He is clearly a man that knows what to do in a situation, and he wasn't even in the episode. He was just mentioned, but he still saved the entire like cast in this episode. So, yay! High fives all around. Bro, great job. Great job, Jeff. If you're watching this, great job. Yeah, they find a lot of illegal fireworks and a lot of propane tanks, and with these fireworks and propane tanks, they basically bait the Daleks. They keep on switching their places. They confuse them by saying they're on this elevator, and then the Dalek strategy gets confused because the Daleks, you see, remember the time loop every time, and so do they. So it's kind of like them trying to outwit each other, and eventually we come to the finale. The Daleks have them cornered, and the Doctor basically gets the girl to call up her mum, saying, you know, it's quite funny. She's like, if we're trying to, you know, she's saying that the lines will be all busy during midnight. If we're hinging our survival on my mum calling me at a time when I need her to call me, we're gonna die. I like that. I really like that line. That was very funny. And she was incredibly funny. She was very, very enjoyable and entertaining, and I thought her character was a lot of fun, and that just cemented it for me, that line. But they managed to get her mum to call at the right time, and that leads to the Daleks being baited by the voice of a human, so they fire, and that blows up the fireworks and the propane tanks, and that leads to the entire warehouse collapsing just as they get out. The Daleks are blown up with it, and we're just left with this amazing New Year's-esque celebration fireworks going off, and it's just absolutely amazing. It's incredible. It's just such goofy, ridiculous fun. The TARDIS has been repairing itself this entire time, and obviously they go on their way. They leave, and the two fall in love and they get together, and that's a great moment, and it's nice because it feels well earned, because they actually have really good interaction through the episode. I thought every moment between them was really heartfelt. There's one moment of like big tension when she's kind of judging him for keeping storage of things belonging to his exes. It's an amazing moment when he even baits the Dalek in one of the times to actually shoot all of his exes' stuff, because he comes to a realization that yeah, they're probably not going to want this stuff that I'm keeping in storage back, are they? And the girl's like, yeah, no, probably not. So then just one of the times they're just like, okay, you know what, kill me, it's fine. Well, not kill me, but like basically, if you're gonna kill me, I'm gonna at least bait you to blow up this stuff that I don't want anymore, that just reminds me of the past, that I'm ready to let go of, so I can start dating this girl that I like and things, and they get out alive, and it's great. That being said, there are some things I kind of dislike in the episode. For one, Phasmin becomes canon. And Phasmin, for all of you who don't know, is the 13th Doctor and Yasmin. And there's a reason for that. I'm not saying I'm against lesbian couples or anything, or lesbian couples or lesbian like interpretations on media or any kind of gay relationship. I'm bisexual. I don't care. That's not my problem. My problem with it is I've always been a big stan of the Doctor shouldn't love his or her companions, and I'm just hoping that this is like Yaz just crushing, and she's gonna eventually, if she does, you know, end up surviving in these last couple episodes of Jodie's run, that she learns to move on from Jodie to find somebody, you know, who can actually, you know, live. Because there's one line that I've always liked, and this is going to school reunion, which is a line from the 10th Doctor to Rose, which is, I don't age, I regenerate. The humans decay, you wither, and you die. Imagine watching that happen to someone you love. Which, I mean, he doesn't actually say love, but he was about to Rose. And I've always taken that as, well, that's exactly right. He can't love anybody, or he or she can't love anybody because they are immortal, and they especially cannot love a human. There's only been one relationship that I've always supported, and that is obviously the Doctor and Romana, because Romana is not a Time Lord or Time Lady, so therefore they both can live forever, and no matter how many times they change their face, they're both the same species, so it doesn't matter, because they'll still love each other. Those feelings won't necessarily go away. But then when it comes to, I don't know. I'm really hoping that this is just a storyline to help Yaz realize that she can do better, that she needs better. And that's not to say the Doctor's been bad to her. I mean, even though there have been moments where she has heavily mistreated her, I'm hoping that this isn't going in the direction of a romance relationship. At the moment, I just didn't like how that was revealed, and I'm hoping it doesn't go any further than this, and it's just a way for Yasmin to grow beyond that, and to find somebody who will actually look at her the same way, and someone who she can actually grow old with. That I'm hoping that it leads to that. I've got a really itchy nose. I apologise, but no, like I say, I hope that this is leading to that kind of a storyline. I'm really hoping that, and that's what I'm basically hoping. That's my takeaway from that episode. Is I'm hoping more than anything, ultimately, that it's that it leads to the Doctor and Yasmin becoming much more closer friends than becoming lovers and things. Just because I prefer that personally. I prefer it. Some people will be happy, and if this is, I'm very happy if you're happy. But for me, that was like a bit of a letdown for the episode, because it's never really, because again, it doesn't, and again, it's not about gay relationships. This applies to any kind of Doctor ex-companion relationship. I've never been a fan of it, so I'm not going to get behind this. But it was, the moment was cute when Dan confronted Yaz about it. So, I'm not going to say I have a problem with it. It was nice. It was a nice moment. And also it's nice to have Yaz and Dan interacting always, because they're just a ton of fun. Another thing as well is, this is again just down to, how the story was structured. I do feel like compared to, I feel like this came in the wrong order, really. Like, Resolution and Eve of the Daleks should have been the first two, and I feel like Revolution of the Daleks should have been a finale. But then again, I don't really wish that anymore now, because, John's pretty much been fully tied from it, which means we wouldn't have gotten Captain Jack and that awesome return from Jack. So, yeah, but no, I feel like in terms of the stakes, I feel like this should have been after Resolution. Like, Revolution feels like such a massive storyline, and Resolution is a lot more grounded, just like Eve, and I feel like they should have had two grounded stories first, then concluded the Dalek trilogy with Revolution. But that's just me. That's just down to, I feel like this was oddly placed, but that doesn't detract from the main story or anything. That's just my own personal preference on where I would personally put it. But either way, that's just a couple little minor nitpicks here and there. I will say I am getting a little tired of the Doctor constantly sort of taking Yaz for granted. And the thing is, the reason why I have a problem with this is the Doctor tells Yaz at the end of Series 13, Flux, that she wants to be more open with her. And I don't like the fact that they're still kind of having the Doctor mistreat Yaz. Like, at the end, the Doctor said she wants to tell her everything. She doesn't want to keep her in the dark anymore because she can actually see how Yaz is feeling. And I feel like she kind of went back a few steps in her arc, and that's never something that's like, and it didn't feel like something that made really that much sense in the context of it. I don't know, but I don't know. It just felt like a little bit of unnecessary, repeat of history, basically. Like, after everything they've been through in the Flux, you'd think that she's learned to sort of treasure Yaz more, and that's the impression I got from it, because they were separated for a good bit of that series, and I just feel like to have her continuously still treat her like she did at the start of Flux, it just, I don't know, it rubbed me the wrong way. That personally rubbed me the wrong way, that entire sequence. But it was still good. I still enjoyed it, don't get me wrong, just, I don't know, I wish that wasn't I wish those parts weren't there, you know? As for some final thought highlights, Dan was absolutely amazing. He really shone. John Bishop is honestly such a fantastic, you know, actor and choice for a companion. He's so witty in this one. There's even a moment when he's pretty much playing a Bugs Bunny-esque trick on one of the Daleks and trying to keep it distracted. And it's so amazing to see him do. It's so great to see him properly involved, because the Flux didn't really give the trio a chance to shine together, but this kind of did, and it was really satisfying to watch. So that was brilliant. The two characters that help with the Doctor, Yaz and Dan, through this, they're great. They have some fantastic moments, really heartfelt. They were definitely highlights. The Daleks are as intimidating as ever, if not more, because of that freaking auto-fire gun. I hope that's not just for this episode. I hope that comes back, because that's an absolutely fantastic addition I absolutely adored. So that's definitely a highlight. So yeah, overall thoughts, Ground-Dalek Day is essentially what this is. Groundhog Day, with the Daleks. And it was a ton of fun, and I really, really enjoyed it. This is just such an improvement. Like, Revolution of the Daleks was an awesome special. Like, every special's just improved from Resolution. Like, Resolution wishes it could be what Eve of the Daleks and Revolution of the Daleks are. And Doctor Who Flux as well, the recent series, which we will be doing a review on as well in a couple days as well. I think Flux and just this just shows how much Chibnall has improved. He's not perfect still, but he is definitely getting there, and he's certainly found his footing. It's just a shame that this is his final run before the end. He's got 2 more episodes now, but yeah, this was an incredibly strong episode overall, and a ton of fun. And the fact that, again, it was filmed during heavy restrictions and a lockdown is great. Well, not a lot. Well, I don't know if a lockdown was happening, but there was a lot of heavy restrictions anyway, and during the pandemic and all. This episode has a lot to be proud of. It's just absolutely phenomenal, the fact that they did this, and I'm just so proud to have watched it. And I'm so proud of Chibnall, I'm so proud of Jodie, I'm so proud of Mandip, I'm so proud of John, I'm so proud of all the other actors and writers and producers and people and crew, and just how they put this episode together in these tough times. And I'm so proud, and I cannot wait, because now this brings us to the next time, which is Legend of the Sea Devils. The Sea Devils are coming back, and I am so happy, because the Sea Devils have been a creature that, as a kid, when I was younger, I was bought a couple of John Pertwee DVDs by my dad, and one of those DVDs was The Sea Devil, and I absolutely adored the Sea Devils. I loved them so much, and then I watched the 5th Doctor story with them, which wasn't as good, but it was still an episode of the Sea Devils, so I ate it up. And I remember thinking as a kid, like, oh, wouldn't it be so cool to have it in New Doctor Who, because I knew just how big the effects were in New Doctor Who, and I was like, oh, I want to see it. And there are so many hopes. There's so much I want from Legend of the Sea Devils, but I'll probably cover that in another video, most likely. But oh my goodness, I was screaming, I was clapping my hands, like, I was so excited to see them appear. They look fantastic. I'm so happy they're sticking with their original design, for however freaking corny and cheesy and camp their original look looks like. I love it because they've made it look more realistic fish-like. They've given the eyes CGI to really make them look organic and real, and oh, they look so good. And this episode was overall a lot of fun. I think I would rate this episode a 7 out of 10. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, definitely doesn't meet the standards of Revolution of the Daleks for me, which is my favourite of the trilogy, but that's not to any of its fault. It's just down to my personal preference. This episode was still incredibly strong. It's my second favourite of the Dalek trilogy, and so much fun, and I'm so satisfied, and I can't wait for the next special with Legend of the Sea Devils. So yeah, that pretty much concludes my review of Doctor Who Eve of the Daleks, and yeah, I hope you all enjoyed. I've certainly enjoyed myself. I hope you guys have enjoyed this too, and I apologise, this is probably going to be quite finicky in some places because this is my first review I've ever recorded, but I loved it. I loved Eve of the Daleks, and I can't wait to do more of these reviews and do more unique content for all of you K9s in the future. And yeah, Thank you all so very much, and I hope you all enjoyed. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit a like. Comment down below your own thoughts. What did you think of Eve of the Daleks? Is it one of your favourite specials of the Dalek trilogy? Or what did you think of it overall? Where does it rank in your overall specials category? And how do you think Chibnall has done? Do you think he has improved during this? I would love to hear your thoughts. Please keep them positive down below. I'll try to answer as many comments as possible. And yeah, thank you all so very much for watching, and please be sure to hit that subscribe if you're new around here. Anyways, K9s, I've got plenty of gaming videos, plenty more reviews as well coming up, but plenty of previous gaming video content if you want to see me talk and things and other stuff that I want to do on this channel. But until next time, K9s, and I will see you all next time. K9 out! Bye-bye!